So we're just cutting a mortise right now. Just going to make sure the holes are centered to each other. And away we go. So these are Turkish drop spindles that are made out of cherry. Very pretty wood. So we got like 9 of these to cut out, I believe, with the mortises. Then we'll come back and we'll cut out the hummingbirds. Hey guys, welcome in. We're going to be on the scroll saw today. We're cutting out some Turkish spindles. So, we realized yesterday that we have another show. So we have 3 shows in about a month that are back to back. So, it's going to be a fun couple months here. It's going to be a fun month. Alright, so we're cutting out mortises. This one I'm going to have to make just a tad bit taller. Alright, let's see how we're doing. There we go. So the nice thing about scroll saws are you can drill an entry hole, fish the blade through, and then you can make internal cuts. All right, we'll do a test fit. Beauty. So if you're new to the stream, my name's Scott. This channel here is primarily, I do project videos. A lot of it is beginner scroll saw and lathe work. So I'll also do some reviews to time, but this is my day job. I've been a full-time spindle maker for the last 13 years. So, Hey Rosalind, how's it going? Welcome in. So today we're working on some wholesale orders, trying to get those knocked out. So I just flip the arms around and I'm making sure that they're all centered to each other. So got 4 more of these centers to cut out for this style. Then we'll come back and we'll cut out the little hummingbird. So for the center here, I'm using a very large blade because I want to make straight lines. And then when we go to the hummingbirds, we're going to switch to a very, very small blade so we can get the detail out of it. There we go. So you might be wondering why I just don't go straight, turn, and go around like that. If I do that, the corners there are not going to be square. And I want those to be really sharp. So by doing it that way, you could prove that you're not using a CNC machine because a CNC machine would leave a rounded edge. So this style is completely handmade. Hey, C, how's it going? Welcome in. All right, we got one more, and then we're going to switch to the smaller blade. That's kind of the fun part with these. All right, so we had a number 9 blade on here, which is really big. So we're gonna drop down to for these, we'll just do a number 5. We're gonna use some Nikwa blades. So these are also sold under the brand name Flying Dutchman in the US. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit closer. That's not so bad. If I can get my magnifier set up so I'm not blocking anything. There we go, we got one done. All right. So the patterns, what I like to do is I put down blue painter's tape, and then I use spray adhesive to put the paper patterns onto the wood. That way I have a fresh, clean pattern for every one, and I don't have any residual glue to deal with. You could use spray adhesive right in the wood, but then you'd have to use like mineral spirits to dissolve the adhesive. Hey Kiki, how's it going? Welcome in. How are we doing today? Today we're kind of laid back a little bit. Um, Plan on sleeping for a couple hours. We do have packaging and we gotta run to the post office and some other stuff, but I got a lot of these to cut out with. Hey, thank you. Yeah. So Kiki, yesterday, um, Vicky comes to me and she's like, "Huh, we keep getting emails about this show. I didn't think we were coming back." I'm like, I don't remember, and yeah. So now we have a third show. We're doing an alpaca show in Madison. Last year, I thought we decided that we were gonna take a couple years off. Oh, banana splits are amazing. But yeah, so apparently we're going to that show too. So now we have 3 shows um, back to back every weekend. So we're gonna have. We're in Wisconsin, so the Madison show is like an hour away, which isn't bad. And then the weekend after that, we're going to be in Chicago. Um, and then the week after that, we're going to be in Minnesota. So, oh, we're going to be busy. So today we have, well, these are wholesale. I got a wholesale order I need to get working on. And then I have another wholesale order which we'll be working on today. So, oh, we're going to be busy today. Thank you. Yep. We got another, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, another 6 after this. So we're going to get our full fill of hummingbirds. How deep can a good laser cutter cut into wood properly? Um, if you're looking at like 40-watt laser engravers, those can cut through about a 1/4 inch of material. And that's, I've got 240 watts, and then I got a smaller 10 watt that I use for marking. The more wattage, the more it's going to be able to cut through. I'm Now that's kind of in a single pass. Hey P, welcome in. You could do multiple passes, to cut through something. But like usually, if you're running really slow, you can get about through a 1/4 inch of most materials, most plywoods, most hardwoods. But there's exceptions too. I tried cutting through some ebony, and that stuff did not want to cut at all. Yeah, a lot of scorching, in my experience. If you get a 100-watt laser, maybe you'll be able to, go through thicker material without the scorching. But I think so. I could cut them on the CNC machine. But it would take longer. And I make A lot of my top rolls, I use the CNC machine or the laser engraver to cut out the whorls because it's thinner material. But yeah. Now, like a laser engraver, like this sort of thing is kind of where it shines. So, I laser engrave the surface and then I come back and I cut the outside out on the scroll saw. So these lines here is because I come in with a flap sander and it gives, I kind of like the look of that. It gives it a little bit of weathered look to it. If I used a different sander, I could get the front white without disrupting that, but then I don't know, I like the look of this. Yeah, I think water jets are more for metal, stone, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm making a bunch of these for the next shows. I'm going to be doing sheep and llama and that kind of stuff. So this is just a way of eating up a bunch of little scrap, you know. So something like this, I have no issues, selling it for $1 or $2. And, at a festival, you know, if your kid falls in love with this and you spend $2 and it keeps them entertained for more than 5 minutes, I think it was well worth the investment coming from, a father of five. I'm just saying. But it's a good way of using up little scrap. Yeah, the water cutting is nuts. I could be wrong, but I believe there is an abrasive also in there, so it's like blowing sand as well. I could be wrong. And as far as doing it by hand, um, most people realize that we're, a two-person operation. And I think it's kind of expected. Or at least they should have 100% nitrous oxide in them. I like how there's a whole bunch of just like cold creams now. Yeah, that's just, it's just whipped cream. Flavored whipped cream for the masses. Why? Because coffee tastes like garbage. That's why. That's why. Gotta keep adding stuff to it. Next thing you know, your coffee starts looking like that color. Helium whipped cream floats in your mouth. Nitrous oxide whipped cream makes you laugh. And I do laser engraving on the side as well on some of these. I still cut them out by hand, but then I do lasering, which is a different look. And for the life of me, I don't know why they ordered so many hummingbirds, but I'm not complaining. Because it's beautiful. Well, I hope 10 people agree with you for her sake. you know. Normally I'll be doing sheep or alpaca or what have you. Dragonflies seem to be pretty popular too. All right, we got 3 more after this one. Hey Adam, how's it going? Welcome in. Where did that come from? Yeah, there's a ski on the end there. So if you're just joining us, we are cutting 5/8 inch thick cherry, which is what, like, is it 15 mil? Somewhere in that region. It's in the stars, huh? This is cherry. I do cut a lot of maple as well. But it looks like everything on the bench today is cherry, which is fine. Hey, Philip, how's it going? Welcome in. And that's a very good reason. Bum 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 bum. Because. Pourquoi n'est-ce pas? So, quick sanding on the back. go. 2 more. Bum, 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 bum. And I do have shafts made for these, hopefully. I think I do. I'm going to have to make some more in a little bit. Let's get some more coffee in me first. I do not. I took 2 years of French in high school, and I don't remember anything except for pourquoi and parska. So we are, hey Rose, we are making Turkish drop spindles that are used for spinning yarn. And we are cutting out just some decorative hummingbirds. Hey Philip, no, we're working on this stuff. We're doing production work today. So we'll get through these. I got a bunch of standards I need to cut the centers out for. And then we'll probably the next half hour or so go over to the lathe. Start turning some top whirl drop spindles as well. Oop, the 3D printers are done. Hey Mike, yeah. Got my first scroll saw when I was 12. Come over here. We were printing out some little sheep. So, just gonna give them a little haircut real quick. These older printers tend to leave just a little bit of material when they finish. Got this old ender over here. Yeah, still 10 fingers. So these little sheep I make into earrings and stitch markers. We also give them away at shows, and when we send out packages, we include a little sheep. So, come over here. That one's ready to go. And that one's ready to go. You sold your dad's fret saw when you were 12. You're surprised you survived. Now, it takes quite a bit to cut your fingers off with those. So, yeah. So this is an old Ender 3 V2 S1. This was their first product with the Sprite drive there. So it's a direct drive printer rather than having a long tube. Oh, yeah, this ender's dialed in. It works just fine. It's just not the quickest thing in the world. Same with this king rune here. I mean, it just keeps running. I mean, if I'm in a hurry, I would probably go to that one, the A1 Mini. I'm actually dehydrating. I'm drying out some TPU right now. So hopefully I can get working with that this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning. And then the big boys, the X1 carbons. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Bowden tubes. Nothing wrong with that. I just prefer a direct drive. You know, when I had Ultimakers, you know, the big thing. Oh yeah, and then we're printing out some dragons. Unfortunately, the dragons, we took 40 to the last show and we sold all but 4. So we sold 36 of them. So I'm stuck making some more for the next couple shows. So we got some dichromatic filament here. So half of it's one color, half of it is the other. So yeah, we're going to be busy a while. So this thing is just starting right now, so I thought we'd look. So it's going through and it's purging. So it's squirting out plastic to prime itself. Then we'll come over. Now I'm making a skirt. So what the skirt does is it prints around what you're printing, and then on the inside it'll start printing. I use it to make sure it's primed. So it's not a brim. I'm not printing like a solid piece. This isn't actually going to touch the sheep itself. Do you have a glow-in-the-dark filament? Yeah, that stuff's nice. It tends to be very abrasive, though. So the print beds, I will wash with soap and water. If I got a smooth PEI sheet, I will also use alcohol on it, just isopropyl to clean it. So now these plates here are very old, so every few beds I will just put a little aqua net on them, which will definitely help. You bought the sensor thing to, okay, yeah. The touch. Yeah, that right there. So even though these do have wheels and you do level them, that will go through and it will probe across the whole bed. And then it will make a map of inconsistencies, and then it will adjust. Let's say if it was taller on this side, the print head would go up and then back down. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, this printer was like Ender's first kind of like, you know, it's got a filament sensor up on the top. It's got the touch on there as well as the direct feed. This was kind of like their first like good to go printer where you didn't have to fiddle around with it a ton. Now I've had the older style printers where you had to do a lot of fiddling, and that's fine. This one just makes it easier. And then these guys, you just turn on and let them go. Printing a thin sheet across the whole bed, yeah. Pretty neat. Yeah, I have nothing against inexpensive printers. I've been printing for quite a few years now. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, you should get, you know, a really cheap printer and spend all the time learning how to work it and adjust it and, you know." do this and that, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people out there that just want to print things. And I get it from both. I understand where they're coming from. But I'm actually very nearsighted. But the magnifying glass makes things bigger. So, yeah, when I first started out, I thought it was crazy that people were using these magnifying glasses. But, yeah, it just helps. And I only have a magnifier on this saw. So if you watch videos of me making stuff, I won't have a magnifier because I don't use this saw to make videos with. I mean, I can do it without it, but it's just less eye strain if I'm going to be sitting here for hours and hours and hours. Oh, yeah. Personally, I don't. Some people will have sandpaper or they'll have a little file and they'll file the back to round it over. I've really never found that necessary. I've also seen people with like bars soap, putting soap on the back of them too. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt anything, but I don't. Yeah. Now, if you were using like a pin end blade, if you had an older saw or a saw that takes pinned end blades, they tend to be a lot bigger because you need enough width on them to put the pin in. So with those, maybe that helps, but I don't. For me, not my thing. All right, so we got those done. Just in time for me to take my pills. All right, I'm just gonna go grab a pill. I'll be right back. I can keep yelling if you want me to. All right, now we're going to switch back to a bigger blade. This one's pretty tiny. The one on the left is one we were just using, and we're going to switch to the one on the right. I don't know if you can see how much bigger it is. Hello, we are working on the scroll saw today. We can zoom out because we're not making teeny tiny things anymore. Oh yeah, I'm drinking what am I drinking today? Ooh, a zero sugar Dr. Pepper and cream soda. I got done with my coffee. Sounds good for derusting metal. That's what Coca-Cola is good for. Yeah, as far as the soda goes, we don't drink soda at home very much anymore. I will drink one a day, one or two a day, if that. This is kind of like my carrot to come to work is, hey, I can get a soda out of this. You know, I live in Wisconsin, and I don't have any alcohol at the workshop at all. I feel very un-Wisconsin like doing doing that. And I live right in the, drunkest part of the country. But I've never been a big drinker. I think I drink more now than I ever have. I'll do a couple Bloody Marys a week if I'm going out. I thought you said they didn't have alcohol. Look, they have orange juice. No, that's just orange juice. People drink mixers by themselves? whenever they do lists of the most drunkest places in the country, usually 7 out of 10 are in Wisconsin, if not more. So yeah, Wisconsin has a tavern league, um, which they spend a lot of money, with politicians to make sure that marijuana is never legalized here because that would hurt their profits. Like a cherry beer now and then. Nice. Yeah. I'm just not a big drinker. Never have been. There's a lot of alcoholics in my family. Yeah, it's important to keep a clear head, you know. And a lot of times, it's just people, who have issues that are self-medicating, you know? Life's a little bit better when you get a few in you. You don't wake up and say, I'm going to become a drunk today. Ooh. And then the next question is, how did this go for so long? You're poisonous food now and you're overweight? Yeah. Um, Yep, I used to smoke. I got up to 3 packs a day when I was working 12-hour shifts in my youth. And then they banned smoking, so I started chewing. I did that for a long time as well. Yeah, like I said, I have a couple drinks a week, if that. And, yep, no tobacco. Right. I would agree with you. Kind of like The Simpsons. Do you hide beer around the house? Oh, do I ever? As he pulls out a beer from the back of the toilet. Now, just to put things into focus, I'll let you see what. Yeah, I've got a very addictive personality, so I try to avoid things. So we'll come outside here. So there's a bar there. Dun 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 dun. And there's a bar there. So if I wanted a drink, I don't think it'd be too difficult. So yeah, if I needed some booze, it'd be very hard to find it. They could deliver drinks to my door. Now, the sad part is there's 2 bars there. When I was growing up, those 2 bars were there. Across the street were another 3 bars. So there were 5 bars within a stone's throw away from each other. One of them was more of a supper club. But yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm not a bar guy. It's not my thing. But the bar in the corner has really good food. They just do burgers and like sandwiches, but they're really good. So that's more dangerous than the alcohol. Well, what kind of irks me now is, you know, I spend a lot of my I have to pick up butts off the sweep up cigarette butts off the sidewalk all the time because there's no smoking in the bars, so everybody hangs out outside the bar smoking. And you're terrified of public speaking? Yeah, it's not my thing either. I'm very introverted myself. Then why are you live streaming? Yeah, you know, right? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't teach. If I do teach, it's to one person at a time. Yeah, the thought of doing a class would just, yeah, not my thing. Unfortunately, I get asked a lot to do classes on spinning, and I can't do it. People scare me. That is quite the drop. When I well, my father, he passed, but you know during the '60s he quit smoking when they jacked the prices up from 25 cents to 35 cents a pack. Those bastards. And what are cigarettes around here? I think they're $11, $12 a pack now. Yeah. Oh yeah, smoking was a cool thing to do. Yeah, and where we live, it's kind of like we have to defend the fact that we don't drink that much. You know, it's like really. Hey, Manuel, how's it going? Welcome in. So the drill press said, you know, I didn't sign up for this. I'm out of here. Yeah, with live streaming, just kind of go with it. That's all you can do. Some days will be good, some days will be bad. Um, I think people like watching my streams because they want me to bleed, I think. Yeah, lots and lots of practice. What a way to find out that the problem is shaft got bent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment. It's just the way things tend to be. Yeah, I try to avoid politics and religion. But if you want to talk about politics and religion, we can. And what's Larry's law? Wear a leisure suit. Oh, that's old. Murphy's an optimist. All right, we got two more to cut out here. Then we'll get some shafts on these. Is that Larry the cable guy? He is from. He's up. Larry the cable guy is actually. He's was born and raised north. He's not a southern boy at all, and he doesn't have he doesn't really have an accent. It's all BS. That's okay. We all need a persona. Nice. So I'm thinking that I might not have enough 8-inch shafts, so we'll probably start working on the 8-inch shafts again. Yep, so once these get shafted, the next step is sanding, and typically my partner does that, but I do have a sanding station if I need to get on something. Do I watch other live streams? I do on occasion. I tend to lurk because, I'm busy doing other things. Boy, that sucks when you don't get angry. At telemarketers, yeah. Trying to figure out how I can do this where I can get it on camera. Maybe if I just swing it over here and then come out, nah, that'll work. Yeah, I definitely don't have enough made up. But we'll see. Which is a disappointing part. You know, you spend all the time making them and then, oh, I got plenty. I don't have to make them ever again. And then 2 days later, you're out. Set these over on the table. Check the chat and then keep going. Yeah, I wish you could have seen my OBS setup that I had. It's actually pretty sweet. But I was in a much smaller shop then, so it's way easier. Nice. Yeah, I was getting usually about 10 to 15 telemarketer calls a day. And my big solution was just to only have calls ring on my phone that I know the people. Everything else gets pushed to voicemail. And now I'm down to like 1 or 2 messages a day, which isn't so bad. I said I didn't have enough. I was incorrect. This is my last one. So, we had exactly the amount we needed for today. And we'll sort those out later. Oh, couldn't get into Connect without, yeah. Well, you know, my biggest issue, you know, when I first started, you know, either people wouldn't tell you how the audio was, or some people are like, oh, it sounds good, and everybody else is like, no, it sounds bad. All right. Get this out of the way. OBS is a streaming program. It's open BS. It's open BS. No, it's for streaming online. All right, I have to run to the bathroom real quick, so I'll give you. We'll watch half of this video here. I'll be right back. Let's see. Mute so you can't hear me piddle. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Really? It's not letting me zoom out. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, so when I'm live streaming, I tend to have something else playing in the background, if not music. Sometimes I just let YouTube go. All right, so we're going to be making some 8-inch shafts, so I'm going to have to put a longer tool rest in. I've become very lazy, so I just replaced the whole banjo. Open broadcast software, yep. Yep, it's free software. It's also open source, so like Streamlabs is based off of OBS. You draw on cardboard and wood when you have 3D printing engraving stuff in the workshop? Oh, I know. It's like the cobbler's son. Probably doesn't have shoes. Yeah. Maybe someday. I used to make Vicky write the signs out because my handwriting is so horrible. That's the best thing ever. This girl gets pulled over. Cop asks, "So where are you coming from?" "Oh, the bars." He already thinks you're drunk. Are you the only one in the vehicle? Yes, but my dad is a county attorney. How's that going to help you in this situation, drunk girl? an 8-inch shaft done today. Hip hip. More to go. I wish. Infinity to go and beyond. So the last couple days I've been working on the smaller ones. So like the little bits and pieces I pull out of here. I was making little 4 1/4 inch ones. This is what I've been working on the last couple days. Tiny ones. Well, if they're not perfectly straight, the wobble will just... It'll take a little bit of the energy away from them. But, you know, we got a little wobble here, so I'll make a shorter one. When somebody pays money for something, they want it to be perfect. So that's the main reason. And, you know, the little pieces of scrap, they go into my fireplace, and I burn them. And it keeps me warm, so... I mean, we're spoiled. We really are. How much that can be spun on them. The length, yeah, it's, well, everything's kind of in proportions to each other. You know, so... You wouldn't, you know, if it was a bigger spindle, you wouldn't put a little shaft on, because then you would run out of room. So in that way, yeah. This one isn't very straight. So if I look at this one, yeah, so it's kind of bent right in the middle. So I do have a scroll saw next to me here. Because Why wouldn't you, right? So I'm just going to cut it in half. So I'll be able to get 2 smaller ones out of this. Then the bed's not a huge deal. Yes. So I don't think you've ever seen me make a plying spindle. This is like the largest one I make. So a much longer shaft, and it's actually thicker just because of the dimensions. It'd be almost next to impossible to turn this shaft that long, that thin. Very similar proportions. This one has more in the bottom because you're going to be spinning so much more on here. You need more distance. So, yeah. But the bigger ones don't spin as long. And they spin very slow. So the huge ones are for plying or making really thick art yarn. I am only going to be live for about 15 more minutes. I have to go package and go to the post office. I just wanted to get 2 hours in this morning. But I think I'm going to be streaming a lot more in the next 3 weeks. Keep me busy. And then I think the recorded videos are going to be coming back. It's probably going to have to wait until probably June. Because I don't have any shows in June, July, or August. And then we got one show in September, which is Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. Pretty excited. It's going to be our first time having 2 booths at Wisconsin. We've been there for umpteen years. It's one of those things where, they only have X amount of spaces, so you get in with one space. And then if you're willing to move, if somebody retires, you can move into their space. Yeah, I'll write it down. Although my marker's not working. Alright, we'll see you soon. I will look that up when I'm done with packaging today. See where you're at. Yeah, I'm basically, I got 12 minutes left, so I don't think anything exciting is going to happen. Have a great day, Mike. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Anything you want to share with people. Hey Ben, how's it going? Welcome in. A lot of it is paying attention to the chat, answering questions, keeping an eye on things. Like this stream, there was one person who was like this close away from getting kicked out. I'm able to self-administer, so I don't have a whole bunch of moderators, but there's nothing wrong with them. If you got some friends who's willing to moderate for you, then you can just go bye-bye and the people disappear. And it's just one of those things people want to, trolling's a lot of fun. And like I've said, I've gone to, a single cell phone rather than running a bunch of cameras. It's just easier for me. And it's nice that we have some regulars now. Get to hang out. Oh, I hear you. No trolls yet. They will happen. People just like to, it's like a heckler at a comedy show. Now, yeah, I've been streaming for, I don't know, over 10 years on and off here and there, and yeah. You just need real thick skin. Don't let anything really bug you. Remind them that, you're doing this basically for free. And if you don't like it, you can just go somewhere else. It's all you do is swipe. It's amazing. Right there. We all need more free therapy. I could totally understand that. Doing production work, it's not for everybody. But, for me, it's just, yeah, it's what I strive at. I do like designing and prototyping more than I like making thousands of these things, but I get to hang out, get to live stream, I get to listen to music or have TV going in the background. When my legs get tired, I go sit down and do something else for a while. Worst ways to make a living. Okay, this one has a split, so let's chuck that up the other way. Have to make sure to throw that one away. Otherwise, knowing me, I'd end up making a shaft out of it and have it break out of me. Miles worth of yard. Nice. I don't spin nearly as much as I used to, and it's just because things have been so busy. I mean, I used to spin like every day, a couple hours a day. I don't have time. I think I spend more when I'm at shows than I do when I'm not at shows. I do enjoy spinning. What I should do is get out either some needles or some hooks. I can have some hand spinach. Should probably become something. That's the only reason I do shows, so I can show people that I know how to spin. Yeah, finding out that we're doing that alpaca show that I thought we decided not to do is kind of... The good news is it's a smaller show and it's close. Not the end of the world. It's definitely not going to be. Yeah, take that, tail stock. Yeah, it's been pretty bad too. It'll give us a little break before our other shows. I think we're going to go to the counters. We got about another 5 minutes left. So we'll be able to do one more shaft. And then I get to put things in boxes. So we package twice a week. We do Mondays and Thursdays. When it gets closer to the holidays, we'll go to the post office every day. Make it 7-inch shaft into this one. Oh, that's great. Drop my tailstock. Who wants to see boxing? The problem with that is I got a lot of addresses. That I don't want to share. Some people might not like that. You know, you got the person's address on the top of the box, inside of the box, on the label. I don't think we have a ton to package today. I think it's under 20 boxes. Usually Monday's the most because got the weekend in there. Now the post office will pick them up as long as one of them is priority mail. So you got to give them a day's heads up. Accidentally showed Kim Kardashian. Oh no, Courtney Love ordered a bunch more stuff. Courtney Love was a big Etsy person as far as buying stuff. Many years ago, I don't know. Looks like I sold more to Burt Reynolds. Even after death, he's cool. Oh, come on. It disconnected when we got 2 minutes left in the stream. Come on, internet, do better. So for this stream, I have just used the phone and I've been reading words. Normally when I stream, I do have a monitor going with the chat. Decided just to do a real simple stream this morning. So I'll say my goodbyes. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you like the stream and want to make sure you find me again, subscribing would probably help. And click the bell because I do not have a set schedule, because if I have a set schedule, then it seems like work. I'm trying to get to 13,000 followers. I think I'm at 12,970 something. We'll get there. Other than that, be nice to people. It doesn't cost you anything. And all the issues that you have, everybody else has too. So, you can't be sympathetic. At least be empathetic. Alright guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you again. Ta-ta for now.